if we don't do any of this flexibility stuff and we just keep investing in the poles and wires, how much more would it otherwise have costed, like back of the envelope?
Yeah, there's a lot of studies that have looked into this and the numbers vary quite a bit, but I'd say the number is somewhere between $5 and $20 billion they think can be avoided in the energy transition if we can activate flexibility, which is massive.
It's huge.
And so the size of the prize is huge for everybody. And so ultimately, if we don't do this, the energy transition across Australia is going to cost $20 billion more up to, which is going to whack everyone on their electricity bills over time. So the size of the prize is massive. We need to have a crack at this and get it right. You talked about access to technology. And, we're at a bit of a risk of creating a two-speed system here where you've got customers who can afford to put on this technology and those who either can't afford it or have a living circumstance that doesn't allow them to install it. So that's renters who can't put solar panels on their roof because their landlord won't let them, or people who even own apartments but live in apartments and don't have space to install the technology, or, in particular, those who can't afford the technology for whatever reason. And so I think, there's a number of things that we can do to help support getting access to that technology. It's simple things like having the right rebates schemes in place at the government level to give those consumers access. It's things like deploying community batteries or other technologies that enable customers to, buy a part in a battery that might not necessarily be installed on their property, or solar that's somewhere else that they can buy a part in. The other thing is we need to make the technology really simple and accessible. So having really good standards. We call this interoperability. It's a big word, but what it really means is all the devices that customers are installing in their home can speak to one another and work together. And people can be confident that when they go out and buy a piece of kit, energy kit, and install it in their home, it's going to work with the ecosystem. It's going to be able to participate in flexibility and be able to deliver them the most value.
Sorry, why does it matter if devices in the home can talk to each other from a customer perspective? From
a customer perspective, it means that they can coordinate behind the meter to maximize the benefit for that consumer. And they can also respond as an entire customer site to a flexibility offer that's being offered. So it's really essential for maximizing the value. So it's, making sure that your EV charger can charge off your excess solar, or, you can shift around demand. So maybe discharge of a battery to support your EV charging, or to support your pool pump or some other technology. Everything needs to be able to work in harmony to maximize.
So you're talking about maybe potentially in the future, like a platform, an app that can go, where basically customers can be made offers to be around their supply and their demand, and without actually having to go and flip all the switches and set the timers and blah, blah, blah. The interoperability means all the stuff can just talk to each other, and it can go tick, yes, we want to save money on this, and it can send that signal through to the system.
Yeah, when they buy a piece of tech and plug it in, it's plug and play, and it's already working in that ecosystem. They don't have to worry about configuration or it not being compatible. We don't want this like Apple Android situation where you've got an Apple home control system, but you can't use the speaker you bought because it doesn't fit in the ecosystem. In the energy space, it's all got to work together, and that's what interoperability is all about. Energy Masters, we're testing, as Andrew mentioned, home energy management systems in the home, talking to all these devices and managing them, orchestrating them in the benefit of the customer, responding to our flexible connection offers that are being offered as part of that project, and they're also being managed in a VPP by retailers. So we're kind of testing the future in that project, but we're already finding that the lack of interoperability means certain devices are locked out, which mean that certain customers are locked out from participating. And so a big finding of that is we want to make recommendations about how we can put in place good standards to make it work. And some of those are already in flight, but there's more work needed in that space to make it simple for customers.
Yeah.